Hi, I'm Bob with Wolfe Ridge. Right now I'm going to go over the newest product line offering here at Wolfe Ridge. This is the Ramy ATV Accessory lineup from Finland. As we continue to grow and diversify here at Wolfe Ridge, we decided to get into the import game early last year. So in February of 2024, we got set up with Fuelwood. We got those machines in here in September, October of last year, and they've been a great success. And in September, Ramy approached us from Finland and asked if we'd be interested in doing the same thing with their product. Myself personally, I have about 7 years of experience with the Ramy products. We have the Brushcutter over here, we've got the Snowblower in front of me, and behind me we have got the flail mower. So right here is the Ramy Brushcutter 120 ATV. This is meant to get installed onto an ATV. It can also get installed on a UTV. You can see we are about 48 inches width overall. Here we've got the Ramy Snowblower 120 ATV. This is a single stage snowblower and also about 48 inches wide, 44 inch in the auger. You can add wings onto this thing to make it even wider. There's 2 different wing sizes we can add to it. And here you can see we've got it mounted on a Polaris Sportsman 570 ATV. And then over here we have the Ramy Flail Mower 120 ATV. Also about 48 inches wide overall, a little bit smaller on the width of cut. And this has a rotating drum in it with 44 singular blades that form 22 Y shapes. Here's another look at that ATV snowblower, and I will show you what it looks like with the wings added to it. Over here, this would be called the 155 UTV snowblower, but it starts out as a Ramy 120 and then these wings get mounted to it. With these wings, we end up making this about 61 inches wide. So this is great for a lot of UTVs out there. So this is the Ramy ATV flail mower. Right on top, for shipping purposes, we have the subframe just kind of strapped to the machine, a little bit of padding here to keep things from getting scuffed up in shipment. But I want to show you this subframe assembly. This is the same between the flail mower, the Brushcutter, and the snowblower, with the exception that the snowblower can get a shorter one specifically made for use on a UTV. But we'll talk about this one quick here, because if you have an ATV or a UTV with a snowplow mount bracket on it already that utilizes a 3/8 or 10 millimeter pin for attachment, it's very likely that the Ramy will adapt to your machine. The way that they do that is they've got these L brackets here that these can slide in and out to adapt to basically any snowplow mount bracket that has a 3/8 or a 10 millimeter pinhole in it. In addition to that, they've got a groove here, so we could put, if you have an ATV or UTV with 16 millimeter or 19 millimeter posts, there's a lock hook clasp that can go over those posts. So if you've got either of those setups, you'd be able to put a Ramy on your machine, most likely. There's telescopic adjustment in this bracket as well. And basically, once you get your width figured out, you'll tighten this up. You will set your telescopic length the way it needs to be. And then the front side of the subframe has this triangular mount on both sides. And then this will bolt to the Ramy implement. I'll show you here on the snowblower what it looks like. So here we are, and you can see we've got multiple hole positions here, so we keep our level and our angle right on the snowblower. So the first thing to do is to put the subframe onto your ATV and then drive up to the Ramy implement, pick the set of holes that makes the most sense, and then a winch is required to raise and lower these implements. But you can see there, the winch will hook up into one of those 3 positions, actually 6 positions. And you want enough distance so when we pick this up, we will not hit the front of the ATV. As you can see, this is a single stage snowblower, and there are a few reasons that Ramy chose to only build a single stage, and I'll go over those things with you right now. The biggest benefit to having a single stage snowblower on your ATV or your UTV is the depth, or how far the implement sticks out from your machine. Right now, we only have about, I would say, 8 to 9 inches between the snowblower and the four-wheeler itself, and we still maintain a lot of ground clearance. All we have is that Ramy subframe and the winch to connect, and if we want to be done with this thing for the day, we have 2 pins underneath of the machine here that we will pull. You can see those there. So this is a KFI mount bracket here, and then this is the Ramy subframe itself. So we would pull these pins on this side and the other side, drop that subframe, unhook the winch, and Then we have the controller box for this on the ATV handlebars right now. And this is just held on by one thumb screw here. There's a bunch of different ways you could choose to mount this box. On my old 570, I had it screwed into right here, just so it was out of the way. But this way, you can take off this wing knob, and then the whole controller will just go back to the snowblower. And one important thing to note, which is also a really nice feature on this machine, is that it's not taking any power from the ATV. This Briggs & Stratton engine has its own charging system in it, and that is what powers the electric chute rotation and the deflector tip. So you don't have any extra wires to hook up to your ATV, just this box. Now, like I said, this is a Polaris Sportsman 570. This is on factory suspension, factory wheels and tires. We did turn up the spring preload pressure in the front of this, and we put 2 sandbags totaling about 140 pounds in the back here to kind of level us off when we pick up the Ramy. You got to remember, this Ramy implement is going to be between 250 and 300 pounds out front of the ATV. So we really recommend having a 570 or a 600 at least. And always, you can try to put that much weight on the front rack to see how much your ATV is going to sag. Some ATV manufacturers have softer suspension than others. In the Polaris 570 case, I think it's very well rounded. We also increased the front tire pressures just a little bit. We went from 7 pounds to 20 pounds, and the max for that tire I think is 36, so we're well within the limits there. But I'll turn the key on this, and I'll pick up that Ramy, and I'll show you what we got. Now, it is a little bit lower on the engine side because it does weigh more on the engine side, but you can see here that there is plenty of ground clearance. And that is another benefit of having a single stage snowblower like this. There are 2-stage snowblowers on the market as well, not from Ramy, and those typically have caster wheels in the front here that are always dragging on the ground. And as well, they use a long tube that goes all the way to the back hitch of the ATV, and then they use more mechanisms to raise and lower the snowblower. So this single stage design, it does put a lot of weight on the front suspension, but when you are snowblowing, it does not. So when we're snowblowing, we'll put the weight of the snowblower completely on the ground. All right, I think that's enough of me talking for now. I want to show you guys how this thing performed. I had David out on the four-wheeler so I could get some footage of this thing earlier today. So we don't have a lot of snow here. We got some a couple days ago. A lot of it melted, a lot of it settled down. We got some back here in this back lot. So we got David on the four-wheeler right now. We're using a Polaris Sportsman 570 here. And this is the Ramy 120 ATV Pro snowblower with the 420cc engine. We've got the skid shoes lowered or raised up, however you'd want to say it. So we're not quite scraping the ground here. Ramy also has a snowplow coming and also a snowblower that attaches to their snowplow. It won't attach to other people's snowplows, but it will attach to the Ramy snowplow. We won't have any of those until winter season of 25-26 later this year, but as soon as we have them, we'll have more information on them. I wanted to get this video out to show you guys basically an introduction to the Ramy products and also show you how that snowblower works. We're hoping to get a little bit more snow here so we can do some more with that. The way that we bring these machines in from Finland is a full container at a time, and then here at Wolfe Ridge, we will be doing the final assembly, putting the engines on them, and making sure that everything runs the way it's supposed to before it gets delivered to the customer. So that is actually creating some jobs here in USA. Even though we're importing these from Finland, it's creating some jobs right here in Wisconsin. So it's kind of a cool thing that way. The Briggs & Stratton engines we'll be sourcing here from the United States. We do have a Honda option that will be available for the Brushcutter later this year, and there may be one available for the flail mower as well. The snowblower is not sure yet because we need to make sure that we've got something that will pass the application test for that machine. So our first 4 Ramy machines were shipped over via air freight, which is not a very economical way to ship them over, but we got them over here so we could get these assembled and do some demonstration videos and show you guys what these are all about. Our first full container is going to be here in early May, and that's going to be the Ramy flail mowers and the Ramy brush cutters. The Ramy snowblower has been in short supply for the beginning of 2025, but for the 25-26 winter season, we will have plenty of snowblowers. And we also have a dealer network for all of the Ramy products. I'll leave a link for that in the description of this video. If you'd like more information on these Ramy machines in North America, including tech specs, photos, videos, prices, mounting diagrams, please check out our website, www.wolferidgemfg.com. There, of course, you can find all the information about all of the Wolfe Ridge products as well. On the website right now, we have 2 dealer locators. We have a Wolfe Ridge dealer locator and a Ramy dealer locator for North America. These 2 dealer networks are not meshed together yet, but at some point there may be Ramy dealers that want Wolfe Ridge or Wolfe Ridge that want Ramy, and we will work to make that happen, but we want to make sure that our Wolfe Ridge dealer network and the Ramy dealer network are both getting satisfied with the products that they need. I want to thank you guys for watching. As always, thank you for the support. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on what's next at Wolfe Ridge.